Hi, welcome back to Chops Garage. I've been shopping again, and can you believe I got all three of these cars for just over £4 grand. Let's find out why they're so cheap. We got a 63 plate Citroen C3 1.6 diesel, a 2011 Hyundai i10 1.2 petrol, and a 2014 Ford Focus 1.6 diesel. This was a bolt buy deal, take the rough with the smooth. So let's have a look in detail about what we've got. So first up, the Citroen C3. Now this car cost me less than it just cost me to spend a night in London to go and see Motley Crue and Def Leppard. My daughter wanted to go and watch them. Yeah, absolutely mad that in this current age you can buy a car for this price, and there is good reason for that. We'll have a look around. So firstly, bodywork wise, we got some light scrapes down the side of the bumper there. It's obviously filthy dirty. Someone's been running on a flat tyre here, look. That is dangerous. That needs sorting straight away. Yeah, they look like they've been running completely on a flat tyre there by the looks of it. Either that or there's something wrong with the suspension on that corner. I mean, it's a nice spec one. We've got the chrome door handles, we've got the alloys. Tyre here hasn't got the same problem as the front one, so whatever it is associated to that front corner. This paintwork is looking dull, but I think it'll actually buff up quite well. We've got a big ding in the rear panel here. Now that is on quite a flat area. I'm hoping if we get like an airbag in the back of it, we might be able to pop that out. Again, the scraping down the side of it is quite light. That'll buff out. The alloys actually have been protected by the fact they're quite wide tyres, so they haven't scuffed the edge of the rim there. So the bodywork overall, and we've got lots of light scratching around where the door handles are, but all of this stuff will machine polish out, and when it does, it's quite a nice sort of purpley blue. I think it will come up quite nicely. Headlight's got some condensation in it there. Little trick of putting a little drill hole in there should vent that out and stop that from happening any further. That light's okay. So it could actually, bodywork wise, tidy up quite nicely. So why was it quite so cheap? Well, I think the best way to show you that, let's hop on Car Vertical and show you. If we open up the app there, bung the registration in, you'll see what I mean. Now I'll admit I thought I was buying this car cheap for one reason, but I'd missed something else that Car Vertical put me straight on. So you see it's okay for theft, it's okay for mileage, okay for finance, but it's coming back as a yellow warning for damage. If we scroll down, we can see this is the reason I thought I was getting the car cheap. The odometer graph. It's done 189,994 miles. It's actually reading 205,000 miles a moment. So I thought I was getting it cheap because of the high mileage and the various dings and dents on the body. But as I said, when I ran it through Car Vertical, it came back to tell me that the vehicle had already been damaged before and was marked as an insurance write-off. And it was a Category N non-structural, which I think probably is that ding in the boot. But I have to admit, I hadn't done my check before I purchased the car. Made that fatal error that you've seen me do a few times now, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. Make sure you're checking the cars on Car Vertical before you buy them, not after, like Dipstick James. So this car is worth about 25% less than I thought it was. So don't forget, if you or a friend's about to buy a car, make sure you don't make the mistake I do. Do the check even before you go to look at it. However cheap it might be, go through the standard checks every time. As always, there's a link in the description down below so you can get a discount on your Car Vertical. Now luckily, as I only paid £300 for this, I think I'm still going to be alright. And I'm pretty sure that it's actually this ding in the boot here that will have been the Cat N damage, because on a car with this kind of mileage and this age, the insurance wouldn't want to get involved at all. So remember, Cat N is non-structural, so it's just external panel damage. Something like this on a car of this value would write the car off quite comfortably. If it was a much newer car, if this was like a 2018, 2020 with this kind of mileage on, and it said it had been Cat N, then I would expect it to have been quite severely Cat N damaged, like probably bashed all down the side of the car, that kind of thing. Because of the value of the vehicle at that point, obviously this at this age and this miles has very little value, so they wouldn't have done it. So yeah, That said, with the mileage the way it is, it actually drives really well. It's got an MOT till next year, January next year, which only has, the only advisories it's got left is insecure rear exhaust, I think is all it was. But that's actually pretty firm. So maybe it's been fixed afterwards. But that's the only thing it had. No leaks from the engine, no underbody corrosion, nothing like that at all, no real advisories. Like I said, the exact mileage now is 204,000 miles. Now this has been sitting all night, so we've got the cold start test, which is always the key for all diesels. Straight up, no hesitation at all. Sounds like a 1.6. It is filthy in here. It needs a really good clean. But the big thing with it as well is, you'd hope someone doing that kind of miles kept the service history up. Well, they did. If we go into the book here, we've got services. The mileage is immense. I don't know what this person was doing with this car. So we've got services in 2016, 2017. It went 30,000 miles in that one straight away. 2018, where it went up another 20-odd thousand miles. 2019, another 20,000 miles. 2019, it's gone up to 100,000 already, another 20,000 miles. Then it's gone to 121 in 2020, so it's just like 20 or 30,000 miles each time. 2021, 2022, so a full service history with it. Now I would imagine this car, based on that mileage and the service stamps being in the Exeter area, I think this has just been sitting on dual carriageways and motorways. It can't have done that kind of mileage around these lanes. It wouldn't drive as well as it does. If we take it for a quick little spin around the yard. Now there is, the clutch is nice. The clutch is bang on. It's about halfway up, so clutch is good. Again, which would indicate to me that it was just sitting in top gear on motorways and dual carriageways, because there's going to be next to no wear at all on a car doing that on the clutch, is there? The suspension's all good. The steering's tight. It's certainly not a banger. Absolutely not. It drives really nicely. I drove it back yesterday, about half an hour. No problems whatsoever. Temperature stayed exactly where it should. Use no coolant. It's got loads of punch still. These little 1.6s really do go quite well. Goes through the gears nicely, no crunching on any of the gears. Again, I think it's just been in 5th gear its life. It's just telling me I haven't got my seatbelt on. No warning lights on the dashboard at all. I mean, you've got to love a bit of Bang-O-Nomics like this, haven't you? Got to absolutely love a bit of Bang-O-Nomics like this. So the question is, pipe down, mate. The question is what to do with it, really. Decent spec with the electric mirrors, electric windows. You've got cruise control on it as well, I think, yeah. Or is that just a speed limiter? It's the VTR Plus, I think, this one. So it's obviously been used as a workhorse, but they've looked after it when they've done it. If we look underneath the car, like I said, there's no advisories at all for anything like leaking on the engine. I can see a little bit at the back there. It seems to be near a plug, so I don't know if that's got a bad washer on it or not up there. But I don't see anything coming down from the engine. Sump's all nice and dry. We'll have a quick look in the engine bay. Yeah, closer look at the interior is really pretty nasty. I think there's been a seat cover in here where all the stuff's gathered up at the back there. This has somehow got the heat on it and crusted up round there. I mean, actually, to be fair, once you gave all these seats a deep clean, apart from that bit down there, which you could probably put some thinners on, clean that off, it would actually clean up all right. There's no tears or anything like that. It just all needs wet cleaning. So overall in here it's dirty like the rest of the car. Coolant bottle's dirty, but I do tend to find these 1.6s do get dirty coolant bottles for some reason. The coolant bottle is at the right level. There's no scumminess or oil in there by the looks of it. There's a couple of pipes down here that look like they've got a bit of oil coming from them, but it's certainly not like leaking all down the side of the block, and it's pretty dry near the gearbox there. Filthy but functional, I guess. Question is though, what can I do with that? I mean, I can't retail it, can I? I mean, for goodness sake, what could I do with it to retail it? It's 200,000 miles. The expectations the public have buying a used car from a car dealer, I can't sell it to somebody. You know, however much they might like an attractive low price when they came to buy it, should it have any problems at all, I'll be back on the hook again, won't I? I mean, just the boot lid alone, I don't know how much that'd cost to fix. If we did everything on it, and then we're asking top money, would it shift? I don't know. I think it's something that has to be traded out, doesn't it? But it's a shame, because I do actually think, like I say, that if it would just be fun to see how many more miles that thing would do. I would say that service history is full, but no one's written Campbell on any of those services. I'd be surprised if they didn't do one on that. I don't know what the intervals are on this, but I would have thought it'd definitely be due one. But I didn't see it written specifically in the book, but then there is a stamp for every year. I don't know. Perhaps you could ring the garages and check whether they've done it or not. So comment down below, what do you think I should do with the C3? I'd be interested to see everybody's thoughts and feedbacks on that. Obviously, we need to get a front tyre on it before it goes anywhere. But yeah, I just love in this current market that I could buy something that cheaply. I don't think it's going to happen very often. We're going to skip the best and leave it to last, and we'll go on to the Focus next. So 2014 1.6 diesel Ford Focus Estate. I've driven lots of the 1.6 hatchbacks, and they've always sold well for me. The Estate, I should imagine, is going to be even more popular. It's just got sort of flexibility of everything family wise. They're a lot of fun to drive. Those 1.6s have got quite a lot of punch, and there's no denying they're a good chassis on these. Good sellers. There's another reason this one might be slightly slower to sell though. A bit like our C3, it's a bit leggy on the miles. It's done 143,000 miles on a 2014, which in this day and age I don't actually view as massively high mileage. I believe the average is well over 10,000 miles a year now, so people are doing a lot of distance. Condition wise, I mean, there's a blister on the old bonnet there, so I didn't catch a stone chip, but that should be easy to tidy up. The alloys are filthy, but they look like they haven't been curbed. No big scrapes on the wing mirror caps or down the side of the doors. A bit of a scuff there that I think will polish out. That rear alloy again has got a bit of light scuffing on, nothing major. It's pretty straight down that side, nothing a buff wouldn't sort out. Round the back, the badge is horrible. They always go crusty, don't they? If you want to make these look much better, you get a new badge on there straight away. Again, only light scuffing along there, nothing too bad. Again, alloy's decent there. Nothing big down the side of the car here. Little chip there, that'll buff out. So the bodywork is actually pretty tidy. A little bit of repair on the paint on the front there, a bit of a buff and a clean up of the alloys. It'll look very smart. Inside, it's dirty. The seats really badly need a wet clean. Again, like the C1, I think it's been used as a workhorse. All the seats need a good wet clean, but we know that the old Bizzle will pull all that out and make them look like new. Boots, got sand and dirt in it, that'll need a good old clean. Big boot on it. How do you get this out? What am I doing wrong? There we go. Yeah, big old boot on it. Again, that'll clean up all right. You just have to get it out and hoover it off and jet wash it and bizzle it again. Get in all the sort of door jams. This could tidy up really well. It's going to be quite a lot of work, but I think it's worth doing. Inside, we've got Bluetooth. Have we got cruise? No, I don't see any cruise. Aircon. It's got the heated front screen, I believe, is it? It's got the heat. It has got the heated front screen. CD radio, auxiliary input. All the buttons are okay. None of them are worn through, like you might expect with that kind of mileage. Even the gear knob isn't that worn really for the mileage. 6 speed, so super economical. These do major MPG, don't they? Again, we've got loads of receipts here. Service book, where's that? Didn't I pull it out before? Yeah. Service book, so we quick look at that a second. Looks to me like it could be a replacement book because there's no actual stamps on it. But it has got the name of the places we could check it out. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 17. Yeah, up to 2017. I think I know why, because I think it had Arnold Clark sticker on the back of it, and they're a bugger for keeping hold of the service history. I think I found a couple more receipts in there. Service history up to about 2018, I think. So not full like the old Citroen. But again, I've driven it here and it drove really well. I'm going to drive it home and back tonight. Keep an eye on the coolant level, all that kind of stuff. But I had no knocks and backs. So the suspension, the clutch felt okay. Plenty of punch. We'll do a quick cold start test again. This one's been sitting overnight again. So let's see.
Good going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Starts up on the button, telling me there's a brake light bulb out, but no other warning lights on it at all. Idle's okay. Seems good. Now, the other major plus with it as well is I found a receipt in here, I think it was for about 2 years ago, I think, for a dual mass flywheel and clutch, which is the biggest thing I'd probably be worried about it on this mileage. So that's a big positive. MOT, it's got quite a short MOT, it's only got a couple months. Last MOT was talking about front discs and pads and suspension, but again, nothing outrageous. But the question again is, can I retail it? I mean, it'd be majorly affordable, probably something like, I don't know, 3,995 for a 2014. Focus Estate is a cheap car, isn't it? So it'd be nice to be able to offer it out, but again, am I taking too big a risk trying to retail it? Comment down below. Again, in that history, we can't see any service history for a cam belt. To do a cam belt on it, it could be quite expensive. I could ask for a contribution. I could advise it needs a cam belt and sell it cheaply. Or I could say for a couple £100 more, we'll get the cam belt done on top to kind of split the cost with them. Yeah, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. So finally, onto the cream of the crop, a Hyundai i10. Now you guys know I love a Hyundai i10. It's 2011. It's the right colour. I like this grey. Kind of suits most people. It's the right spec. It's the active. It's got the alloy wheels, the all-round electric windows, colour-coded wing mirrors and bumpers. Not the base model ones. It's the 1.2 petrol, which we know is pretty unburstable. We've sold these with 130,000 miles on. This one though, however, let's get the keys to it. Got 'em. Yeah, this one is a low mileage one. We'll have a quick look at the bodywork first. No scuffs on the front corner of the bumper there. Paintwork looks all good. Alloy looks good, just needs a good clean. Little scuff into the wing mirror, but that'll buff out. So down this side, it's in good nick. Nothing to worry about. That rear alloy again is all right. All the paintwork there is really good. The only thing, sorry, it has just already been out on a test drive, is there's a ding here in the rear. Nothing outrageous, but worth doing. It looks like it's pushed a lot back in as well. So I need to decide, is it worth just getting a boot? Because the time it takes to get it done paint-wise, if I get a boot on it, I can swap it over in an afternoon and be away again. This needs warming up, pushing down, filling and painting to tidy that up there. It's a couple of little scuffs, but they're just touching marks on the corner of the bumper there. Down this side's all right. Again, the wheels and the alloys, the alloys are all good. There is a scuff down here that would probably be worth painting because it's quite deep. So there's a couple of bits of paint to do on it. But inside is pretty minty. They don't get worked too hard, these, as a general rule, do they? Right, so mileage. The mileage is only 31,000 miles. So a nice low mileage, and it is, where's the service book gone? Loads of receipts for it. I haven't gone through all those to find out what it's had over and above its normal servicing, but here it is. Service history was sold new just down the road in Barnstable. Then it had service 2012, 13, 14 at the main dealer, 15 main dealer, 16 at some kind of independent for a couple of years, but then it goes back to the main dealer again. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6th 2022. So it's just doing another service now. Remember, these are chain driven. So there's no cam belts to worry about them, anything like that. Just oil and filters, and they're tough little buggers, aren't they? I mean, anybody who watches the channel regularly knows I love the Hyundai i10s. Like I said, there's a shed load of receipts there I haven't been through at all. So goodness knows what there might be in there in terms of additional work. Drove it back, drives exactly like one should. We'll start it up. Starts on a button. Idle's fine, no warning lights at all. You got your auxiliary input and your USB, so I can get my little Bluetooth dongles on the go. aircon, CD player, like I say, all round electric windows on this one. It fits in nicely with all my other low mileage stock, doesn't it? It's a shame we've got to get the paint done on it. To do with a bit of machine buff as well. So that is the cream of the crop. In terms of like engine bay wise, I could show you, but it's, well, I can. Bit dusty, but other than that, alright. The oil is as you expect, just having had a service not so long ago in low mileage. It's super clean. All the coolant levels right. All around the engine bay's dry. Little cracker. That one's definitely for me. That's definitely for retail. But what to do with these other two, I do not know. Now, in the comments by now, someone may well have said, "I'll just sell it as no warranty." Now, you can sell a car as no warranty. Don't forget, you as a dealer can absolutely sell a car with no warranty. But it still falls under the Consumer Rights Act, which means they've still got up to 6 months. Like I said, it drives really well. It's just Bang-O-Nomics at its absolute best, isn't it? Which means they've still got up to 6 months comeback. So you might say, well, just say it's sold as seen. Remember, sold as seen means nothing either. You can write sold as seen on a invoice. Will get you into trouble with the trading standards, and it means absolutely nothing. Again, a customer come back 6 months. The only way you could sell either of these vehicles without any comeback, as they stand now cheaply, is to sell them spares and repair. But remember, in order to sell them spares and repair, they cannot test drive the vehicles, and they have to be transported away from the premises. So to advertise a car on the basis that it's being sold spares and repair immediately makes people think it's a total wreck, and they can't test drive the car. So, you know, obviously in a situation where, to be fair, the C3 drives just as well as the i10 with 30,000 miles, but I'd have to list it as spares and repair, which means it would be worth absolute peanuts. So this is where the dilemma really is, because if the law said, right, when a car gets to that kind of mileage, it's 30 days, sell it, and you've got 30 days come back. If they come back within 30 days, they want to return it, they can do. That'd be fine. But unfortunately, it doesn't distinguish with these three cars any difference between the one in the middle and a two either side of it. It does say allowing for age, mileage and price paid, but who wants to go to court for a judge to decide what wasn't fair? And again, if you've got a consumer the other side of the table in tears saying it's all the money they had, you're going to lose every time, aren't you? The Focus, I'm still very tempted to retail, so I think, I say, we'll test drive that tonight and see if any lingering problems come up with it. But I think that is one I am tempted to retail. But yeah, again, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. So the Focus drives brilliantly. I think we are going to retail it. I haven't found any problems with it I'm upset with at the moment, touch wood. We'll get it down, we'll get it MOT'd, find out how much it costs to get it MOT'd, give it a really good clean up, see where we are with the pricing then. Like I say, what we might say is offer a price point where we advise in writing on the invoice that cam belt needs to be done, or offer that they can contribute towards and we'll get it done for a much lower cost, like just charge them cost of parts or something, like a couple £100 max. So yeah, again, as always, thanks for watching the video. We've bought loads more bits I need to go through with you, lots going on. So thanks as always for watching. I will try and get through all your comments and reply back. Many thanks for getting involved, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget the old Car Vertical offer in the link in the description down below. Like, I can't stress, I do enough volume of cars to chance it a bit, but I could have got badly burnt if it had been one of the other vehicles like the i10 that had been written off. So make sure you're doing your checks before you purchase.